ace pitcher Matt Harvey. Plus, Miss Patti LaBelle performs live and reveals what she's doing for the very first time in her 5 decades of making hits. Then, Super Bowl champ Drew Brees hits the table. Does he worry about his kids taking hits on the football field? Let's kick off Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, and Jedediah Bila. Now, let's get things started.
So the fallout over the firing of James Comey keeps on building. Now people are wondering who actually did it. Because the White House says it came from the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein. But reportedly, he's so mad that they're trying to pin it on him, he almost resigned. What the hell?
It's crazy. It feels like it's unraveling, that the story's unraveling, and I think they were very unprepared for all of the questions. And I told you ladies during the Hot Topics meeting yesterday that I have a friend that knows the Deputy Attorney General and says he just has a wonderful reputation of integrity across party lines. And so I was surprised that they pinned it on him, because he is the one person that's going to say, don't pin this on me. You know, I'm not responsible, and I wasn't the ultimate decision maker.
Should he resign then in protest?
I think that would speak very loudly, because if you, just like they say that we might not hear from James Comey in certain testimony because he won't reveal classified information. So, well,
He can do it behind closed doors.
well, he can do it, but we won't hear certain things from him, because I don't think he's the type to come back out now and say this. You know, even his letter.
Nobody's checking for Comey.
He doesn't want. So my point is that if this guy were to resign, I think it would speak so loudly, because it would confirm everything everyone's saying.
I am wondering if Comey is going to address the letter that 45 wrote that basically says, you told me on 3 separate occasions that I wasn't being investigated. Because every single former prosecutor that I've spoken to and people at the Justice Department are saying that that would be illegal and unethical.
Left?
Well,
Department?
that I know, right? And I would be surprised that he would let that just sort of lay out there, because that calls his integrity completely
Does this
into
feel
question.
like a coup to anybody?
Oh, you said that.
It just feels like a coup. You know, first the whole Justice Department everybody got gutted, all of the things, got gutted, and it just, it just feels, and he's got all of the generals. It just feels kind of
military.
kooky.
You know, I feel as though that things are changing around a little bit. I'll tell you why. Today I was reading the New York Post, which is pro-Trump all the way. The letters were more like 80% against Trump today.
Really?
Then a guy, a crew guy, was fixing my TV in my office, and he overheard me saying this about the letters, and he said, you know what, you're right, I'm turning on him. I voted for him. I don't like him anymore. He said he's going to eliminate mortgage rates deductions on Long Island, and he's going to destroy the whole borough. He said, I don't like him anymore. Then I see a thing on, and then I see a thing on CNN where they talk about Iowa voters in that district that loves him. And I'm not so sure about him anymore.
Well, talk about this picture that you saw.
And then this morning in the New York Times, there's a picture which we have to show you, where Trump is basically in the Oval Office. Can we get that shot? We have it? I know we do. So there he is. And he's speaking to the Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov and Ambassador Kislyak, who is the one who's he's the guy who Michael Flynn got fired for talking to him about possibly talking about sanctions. And in the room, there's Trump talking to these Russians, and guess who's, and the Russian press is there covering it. And guess who's missing from that room? The American press is not allowed.
They were
barred from the room. Okay? So all I'm saying in this lengthy speech, which I hate to give, is that this is treason to me. This is un-American, unpatriotic. Americans should be furious. Furious. This is the American press being left out
And
of
it doesn't,
it hurts
let's
my feelings, frankly.
pay less attention to who's going to leave or who's not going to leave, and not lose the sense of what we're really talking about is who's taking up this inquest about these Russian ties. That's the question. It doesn't matter if Comey's gone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it went down. It went down, and it's kind of shady, but we say, okay, we cannot lose focus on the timing. And so who's now going to be in charge of making these decisions?
Career FBI people are still there, though. And I got to say, Eric Holder tweeted something out, and he talked about duty, honor, and country. I remember having that in my office when I was at the U.S. Attorney's Office. Duty, honor, and country. And I bet you those career people are doing it.
Yeah, no, for me, it's exhausting. He's exhausting. There's all this stuff. Some of it's he said, she said. But what most of all for me is you're seeing the personality of the man. And for me, you know, this is a guy you came to know on a television show saying, you're fired. And it was funny and it was entertaining then. But he's doing that now with Comey, with media people, and he thinks he's still on a television show, but you're president now, and you're accountable to us. And it's really, I think it's challenging for people trying to follow the news right now, because there are people who voted for him with the expectation that he was going to help them, and I get that. But his character right now, don't bend over backwards to try to defend character that looks like there's something wrong that's going on here.
Well,
something not right about this.
and it's going in crazy directions because, you know, Sean Spicer, who we always like to sort of talk about, well, he looks like he's having a little bit of a breakdown. He's been hiding. No, really. He was hiding in some bushes.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
And then he said, look, I will only talk to you with the lights out.
He said that to reporters.
No, you think I'm kidding. No, he actually said, I don't want to be. He's in the dark.
He wanted the cameras off.
He wanted the cameras off. And so now,
I feel sorry.
you know, we have, we're going to see Sean Spicer as we saw him before, because, of course, Melissa McCarthy is going to be playing him again on Saturday Night Live. And we wanted to show you this thing as we go to commercial. Roll that beautiful bean pudding.
You're charming, oh so charming. It's alarming how charming I feel, and so pretty that I hardly can believe I'm real. Such a pretty face, such a pretty dress, such a pretty smile, such a pretty me. I feel stunning, and entrancing, feel like running and ranting for joy, for I'm loved by a pretty, wonderful Lord.
So whether you're an Oscar winner,
The fabulous Anne Hathaway.
a fierce supermodel,
Ashley Graham.
or you're making a big bang,
I'm Bialik.
this is the place where strong women
We need support. All parents do.
come to be heard
I don't feel that we need to put a category on women because of a number inside of their pants.
and voice their view.
You wrote that you were a late bloomer.
Some of us take our time, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I started at 40. Does that count as a late bloomer?
We are View Strong all day long.
That's right.
It's The View on ABC. Still ahead, Patti LaBelle performs live and has a throwback Thursday to when she almost starred in one of Whoopi's most iconic movies. Then Super Bowl champ Drew Brees joins the huddle at the Hot Topics table.
Now, welcome back. You know, we were talking about Sean Spicer, but there is a deputy White House press secretary. Her name is Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And she talked about the firing of Comey as being, because Comey had done atrocities, right?
Atrocities.
Yeah.
Is a kind of
So I say, not for nothing, babe, but here's some real atrocities, like the Holocaust. Atrocity. 9/11 attacks, Rwanda genocide, Armenian genocide, Sandy Hook shooting, Darfur. Those are atrocities. Overstepping your bounds not so much.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that since you're going to be the person who's giving us the information, who's communicating,
Is she taking over for Spicer?
I think if he's having a little breakdown and he's hiding in the bushes, yeah.
It looks like she's testing
I
for that
think he's
job.
hiding from Trump. I really do.
Maybe
Yeah.
Maybe he's hiding from her.
He's got to go further than the bushes.
He
Yeah.
has, that guy,
The bushes won't let him in the door.
no, he has a tough job. I mean, I wouldn't want to get on TV every day and have
lie?
to defend some of the stuff that he does. I wouldn't want to have to do that job.
Yeah.
I think
He has to lie because his boss is telling him what to say.
Yeah.
And he's lying, and so he's lying.
But it has sort of devolved, this role of the press secretary. I remember when James Brady was the press secretary, and you have Ari Fleischer, George Stephanopoulos, who was really the communications director, but also gave a lot of press conferences. So there was just this level of confidence I think you had in your press secretary. And now he's hiding the bushes.
But you know what's interesting? If you look
It's
at
an
Sean, if
atrocity.
you look at Spicer before this whole saga, though, he used to sound together. I mean, I remember hearing him speak and thinking, this is a guy who's kind of got it together. I think in this position, I certainly would want to be the person that has to go back and talk to Donald Trump and come out and present. He's got to be back there breaking a sweat every day.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not an easy job. About that thing you said before about the word atrocity, though. I think you're right. I think she was basically trying to say there was, some justification for this firing. But it brings up the point of if you take a job like this.
I'm a little confused.
With Comey?
What was the atrocity she was referring to?
All the things referred to in the letter of why.
In the letter.
Does she know what an atrocity actually is? Because it's an extremely wicked
That's
and
what I'm
cruel
saying.
act. That's typically one involving physical violence or injury.
Right. Well, that's the point I'm trying to make, which is that if you take a job like this and you're going to be front and center, and your job is to talk to media and talk, you need to think before you speak. You need to choose your words carefully.
Yeah.
She needs Rosé's thesaurus. Look for better words.
For that.
Yeah. And so now, that brings us to other crazy stuff. Oh, I thought I had a minute, so I'm going to keep going. Which was Betsy DeVos.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Well, Betsy DeVos went to a historically black college as the graduation speaker. She went to Bethune-Cookman University. But the student body was like, no. Take a look.
Thank you so very, very much for this great honor and privilege. I am honored to become a Wildcat.
If this behavior continues, your degrees will be mailed to you.
Okay, so now we've heard a lot of kvetching from people. I wasn't allowed to speak at this school, but so she was allowed to speak, and the students did what you're supposed to do when you're protesting a speaker. You're not supposed to say you can't come, but you are allowed to protest.
It read as disrespectful to me, though, and here's why. They can disagree with her. I argued
do you have any idea of why
I do, and I also argued against. Remember, I argued against her being confirmed for school for stuff related to school choice.
I totally get it.
But my thing is, if we're sitting at this table and say, Sonny, I'm picking you because it's fun. No, but say you say something I disagree with, and I start boo, and then I turn around like this the entire show. To me, that's rude.
It's your right, though.
But it's rude.
It's your right under the Constitution.
Here's the thing. The booing shouts her down, and you can't hear what she's saying. Turning your back is perfectly legitimate. That means I do not want to see you and hear you.
I didn't invite you.
I didn't need the booing. The booing defeats the purpose of hearing the crazy stuff she's going to come out with.
Right.
But turn your back, perfectly legitimate.
For two reasons, I agree with Joy. The one reason is for the people that showed up and it was about something else for them, their graduation, and there's a pride, your protest interferes with their experience as well, so the turning around would fix that. And secondly, Michael Lomax, the president and chief executive of the United Negro College Fund, wrote on Twitter, and this is interesting, I believe we should hear Secretary DeVos at Bethune-Cookman, just as we want her and President Trump to hear the voices of HBCUs.
Except that the bottom line is that they haven't, and that's why they're booing. And also, I'm sorry. Call me a bonehead. I am a bonehead. But when you are the head of education and you don't know that black colleges were not a freaking choice, but they were created because there was no choice, you don't have any business going there.
Maybe we can talk about it
when we come back. We'll come back.
quickly, you know, I'm on the board of trustees of Dillard University, which is a historically black college university in New Orleans. And what people need to understand is that going to college is a spiritual thing for our community, because for so long we were not allowed to be educated. And so we know that our ancestors fought for the right for us to sit in that university. And to invite Betsy DeVos, who understands nothing about that, as the commencement speaker is a slapping of face to the community. It just is.
And so, are you holding the college?
Yes, because I'm surprised that they even invited Betsy DeVos.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with
that is a poor
That was
choice.
a very poor choice.
But don't you think that the fact that it made the press the way it did is something good, so people can see?
No,
what's going
because
on?
those kids had to voice their opinions about someone who didn't know anything about where they were, and that's not good. That's supposed to be a good time, like you said.
It was so inappropriate.
But so now, speaking of crazy stuff, this is also crazy. On the total other side, tabloids are losing their minds over the drama surrounding supermodel Adriana Lima and Met star Pitch Matt Harvey. Apparently they were seeing each other, but he thought it was more serious than she did. So when he saw her with her ex at a Met Gala, he just like got all emotional and went out clubbing till 4 a.m. and then missed the game the next day. Boom! Boom! You still got to pay your rent whether you going with this woman or not.
I know.
It got him a 3-game suspension. I mean, this is like, what? I mean, okay, but please, really?
Yeah, it sounds like they didn't sit down and have the talk, you know, to figure out where they were. I never understand how that happens, because usually when I'm dating someone, it gets to a point, and you sit down and you have to figure out what the status is, where you're going, because if I thought, you know, something was serious, and then I saw the guy I was seeing out with an ex-girlfriend, you better bet I'd be twisted. I wouldn't be missing my show, though.
I know.
I would be twisted.
I came in one day after a breakup, though, and I remember I cried so hard my eyes were closed. They were swollen, and the makeup artist, this was at another network, they had to work on me, hanging me upside down with tea bags on my eyes, because they couldn't get me in shape to put me on air. And I was, every time we'd talk, I'd start to cry again. And so they ended up saying, you know, this isn't, you need to, like, not go on. You look ridiculous right now.
Devastating.
So I showed up for work, but I definitely wasn't ready for the game.
Yeah, I got broken up with on New Year's Eve, and he told me he wanted to start the New Year off right without me. Eric, you know you did that. It was horrible. I was devastated.
You know, you've said this before. Have you ever heard from Eric?
No.
I think Eric should start to get in touch with you.
No, I think Eric's doing the right thing. He's living his life. Get over it.
I know.
Get over it.
I know.
You know, because then, remember I told you, they're not thinking about you.
They're not.
They're not thinking about
He
you.
probably didn't even remember it.
You know, and better for you know he's got acne, you know where. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the latest episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Features an awkward family vacation where Kourtney's ex, Scott Disick, comes along with them on vacay. And he's still close to some family members. But does this make any sense at all? Do you care?
So he's friends with
You're looking at the wrong person.
Well, I'm trying to
Over
understand.
here, Joy. Over here.
I'm trying to follow the
Basically,
story.
he's still hanging with the ex's family.
He's hanging with the ex.
He's
Yeah, with
no
the
longer with
family.
Courtney, but he likes the other
What about
Kardashians.
it?
Well, because
Should you do it?
Should you be friends
Or
with
cut
your
the
ex's
cord.
family?
you
they're
have
nice.
to when you have children.
If it's Charles Manson's family, no.
But I think when you have children, it's very important. One of the things that I always appreciated about my parents, they got divorced when I was 16, and we vacationed together. Our families were always together. I mean, we went on, you know, as I've gotten older, we go on cruises together, and it's kept the semblance of my family that I think I really needed.
Yeah.
And the kids will need that.
I think
Well,
those
it's different when you have children.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes the good part you get from a relationship is the family. Because that same guy that made me cry, and remember I couldn't go on air.
Yeah.
I was texting with his sister this morning.
Really?
Yeah, she's really great, and I actually credit that relationship with I met her, and I love her.
You know what's so funny? The last guy I dated, he was awful. I mean, awful. The drug dealer, in case any of you follow the show.
Drug dealer.
He was awful, but his family was amazing. Like, if I could have adopted them, I remember going.
He's probably selling them drugs.
I remember going. I remember going to Chicago.
They were high.
I went to Chicago and I was in the house, and it was like the perfect house, and the family, and they were in the kitchen cooking, and I was like, I want a rocking chair and a fireplace in a yard. And I was like, if I can only pluck him out, this would be perfect.
Do you keep in touch with him?
Perfect. No, I don't, because you know he's just a horrible person, and it's too. Plus, I think when you meet somebody new, it's hard for them to be like, why are you talking to his family? You know, like,
yeah,
you know,
that's
it's
true,
complicated.
unless you have children.
Yeah, unless you have children, then it's totally
And you got to
different
be a
story.
grown up and do it.
I
for the
still
kid.
like that house though, with the rocking chair.
Maybe you can visit.
Have you
next
ever
time you're in
heard from
Chi-Town.
him?
Do you ever hear from the
He's
drug dealer?
blocked everywhere. He's blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Okay.
The last time I was on, I was whipping up one of my favorite desserts. This time, I'll be singing. Either way, I'm cooking, honey.
How hot can you stand it? Well, this May, things are on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone's coming and bringing their hot views.
You're not going to hear what we do anywhere else.
And think these political heavy hitters have nothing in common? Wrong! They're both hitting the table.
It's going to be interesting.
And if he thought hosting the biggest night in Washington was huge, wait till this Daily Show star hosts The View. Right, Joy?
This is huge.
Oh, yeah, this mate is sweet. We got a billionaire co-hosting. Comedians bringing the laughs. And the biggest, most talked about celebs are coming to be heard. Told you things were hot.
Bam, drop the mic.
Because we're View strong all May long. It's The View on ABC.
All I have to say is, ladies and gentlemen, Patti LaBelle. Okay, Patti LaBelle. And you're
What a wonderful place to be.
it's kind of great, right?
It's always fun. I watch you every day I can. And the happy I get from
You know
the
what,
audience.
girl? I know you're trying to adjust. You
Child, this
we
is
are
about to break my
sliding on these. You know, sometimes you know you just be like, okay, hey now.
It's slippery.
So you're having a birthday.
May 24th.
Yeah, 24. What are you doing?
73 years young.
You're what?
73.
73. Well, you know. You know.
Somebody has flowers for me. Thanks for the flowers. I get them later.
I'll get them over here to you. Here, ask your question. I'll go get the flowers.
Okay. So, you and Whoopi have been friends. Well, you and Whoopi have been friends for a long time, right? For a long time. And you've got, I was saying, Patty and Whoopi have been friends for a long time, but we recently heard about a connection with the color purple.
I don't think Whoopi knew. I don't think I've ever mentioned it to her. I was to audition for Suge Avery's part in The Color Purple, right? So when I got to Steven Spielberg, he told me what the scene. I knew what it was all about before I went to LA.
Right.
But when he said you have to like get kind of nude, naked,
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So I messed that up.
Oh, and what
So
about
then
Ghost?
Ghost, I was in the Lincoln Tunnel, caught, stuck in traffic.
See?
And I was there to audition for Ghost. When I got there, Whoopi had gotten the part.
Wow.
Well, you know, I know how much you love to cook, and I saw your new cookbook called Desserts, La Belle Soulful Sweets to sing about. And so I wanted to tell you that I had some favorites because I would like you to maybe make them.
What are your
the
favorites?
old-fashioned gingerbread with warm apple compote. The blackberry corn muffins.
Yes.
Claudette's magnificent monkey bread. Love monkey bread. And this, I really I have to try it. Lemon mousse with blackberry.
Of course, darling. You want that, right?
I would like, I'll take any one of those.
I'm about an hour and a half from your home.
Right.
I can come on a weekend or whenever and make some of these.
Can I come
Okay.
too?
Okay. All right.
So
Maybe. You behave, you can come.
So you're performing a song on the show today from your new album called Belle Hommage. And I was shocked to find out this is your first album in 10 years.
Yes,
and this time it's jazz inspired.
The reason, and it's jazz inspired. I would never have done a jazz album unless my ex-husband came begging me. You know, he said, Blanche, he calls me Blanche from Baby Jane. I'm Joan Crawford. He said, Blanche, you have to do this jazz. I said, I don't want to mess up nobody's music. You're always afraid of doing something that you've never done, hoping that you can perfect it.
Right.
Well, we fought about it, but anyway, it's done, and I'm in love with this project.
See, and it's about time. So here to perform the Jazz in You from her new album, Belle Hommage.
Yeah.
Give it up for my queen, Patti LaBelle. Oh, baby. Oh, my God. You my queen. Look. This is from that man with the blue hat. That's for you. I love you. Oh, my God. Oh, thanks to Patti LaBelle. You can see Patti throughout the summer on her tour, including a performance at New York City Pride's Pride Island on June 23rd. Make sure you get to see that. Members of our audience, you are all going home with her new album, okay? Belle Hommage, we'll be right back.
Next, Super Bowl champ Drew Brees is getting in the game when he hits the table for some Smash Mouth hot topics. Ooh, that's a flag. It's Guy Day Friday with The Daily Show's Hassan Minhaj. Plus, he's the man some call the mastermind behind Trump's presidency and the reason Comey was fired. Roger Stone is live on The View.
So in 2010, our next guest led the New Orleans Saints to victory in their first ever Super Bowl. He's a philanthropist, a dad, and just possibly the greatest guy ever.
Oh, really?
Who am I talking about? Yeah, he's actually quite a fabulous young man. A fabulous dude. You know, please welcome Drew Brees. That was a great game, too. I'm not going to lie. I loved watching that game. Anyway, we were talking earlier about Matt Harvey. You know, as a pro athlete, would it break up? This is the stupidest question I've ever had. Would that constitute for... Should anybody take a... I don't even know how to ask this stupid question.
Would you miss a game over a girl?
Would you miss it if she were a supermodel?
No, absolutely not.
No. I mean, no.
You have an obligation to your team, and there's plenty of days where you don't feel like going to work for whatever reason, but you show up because people are counting on you. I mean, obviously, there's situations like, hey, a death in the family, or your wife's having a baby, or there's things where you would miss, but not something like that.
Yeah, not something like that.
Well, I said to him before when I just met him, I said, you're skinny for a football player. Tell him what you said.
I said, I got to be quick to get away from those big guys.
Yeah.
Well, you are beloved. My friend Ben Watson says hello.
Oh, he's the best.
He says the same thing about you. Now, you've been the quarterback for the Saints since 2006, but you only have a year left. Yeah, 2006. You only have a year left in your contract. So if you would, can you look into your crystal football and let us know what you see in terms of your career?
Or just your magic 8 ball, whichever.
This is the way I look at a contract, is we're really all on one-year deals, because if we don't get the job done, then we could be cut, we could be released, shipped off somewhere else. So it really doesn't matter the term of your contract. You still have to show up and get the job done every year. So, yes, I do have 1 year left on my deal, but I see myself playing for the New Orleans Saints for quite a bit longer.
Who that? You know, not to be serious about this, but there's a lot of research lately about football injuries, you know, and they say that kids should I don't know. Would you let your kids play football, knowing everything that they
I
know?
absolutely would, but I do think there's an appropriate age at which you put pads on and begin, the hitting aspect of it. My kids play. I have 3 boys, 8, 6, and 4, and they love flag football. So we play flag football. I played flag football until freshman year
What's
of high
flag
school.
football? What is it?
So it's football, but you play with flags. So instead of tackling somebody, you pull their flag, and then that means they're down.
You haven't had fun football, Joy?
Flag football is
I'm not
Really? You're asking
I
me?
don't know. I mean, I'm
I
learning
just want her
something.
to say it out loud.
I'm learning
I think
something.
she'll wait until at least high school for that contact.
Again, I think it's every parent's choice, but in my opinion, it's not worth the risk up to that point. I think there's so much your brain development and everything else that's happening. And I think you still get the great benefits, the fun, the team aspects of it, and the life lessons learned by playing flag football versus tackle. So I think there's an appropriate age.
Now, you're working with our sponsor, Eagle Pharmaceuticals, on their Heat Factor campaign. Can you tell us about
Yeah, this is a really important campaign, the Heat Factor campaign. So really it's to raise awareness to the signs and symptoms of EHS, which is exertional heat stroke. Summer's approaching, kids are going to be outside, running around in the heat and the humidity, and what we've done is create a campaign that is there to educate parents, teachers, coaches, just on the signs and symptoms of when all of a sudden maybe there's a child that could be suffering from exertional heat stroke. And we've created an acronym, HEAT. H is high temperature situations. E, exercise or activity. A, acting confused, disoriented. T, time to call 911. So people can go to heatfactor.com. We've put together all kinds of education.
Now, on a lighter note, you're very approachable, and people always feel like they know you because they watch you on TV. And we want to know just how well we know you.
All right.
So we've got a little game, you guys. It's called True or False.
Okay.
So Drew is going to ask the questions, and you have to decide if it's true or not true.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay.
False.
All right.
We didn't know about that.
Okay, so Drew, you're going to read. Here are your
Learning
questions.
as we go here. Okay.
Go
All
ahead.
right. So you want me to read the question?
Yes. Go ahead.
All right, so true or false? My touchdown dance is the Running Man.
I don't know. Okay. I say this. I'm guessing.
Don't copy
False,
me,
false.
Joy.
It
I'm
is-
copying you.
It is false.
Got it right. Go ahead.
All right.
It seemed a little active
I'm sorry.
for you.
I tried.
You obviously thought I had
I thought, I'm counting on you, man.
I got you. All right. True or false? I've beaten Andy Roddick in tennis 3 times.
Oh. And
False. True. 3
Yeah.
times.
Did you?
As a kid, so we grew up in Austin, Texas, and we used to play in tennis tournaments as kids, and I beat him the first 3 times, and then he beat me the 4th time,
pretty good.
which told you where his career was going.
Wow.
Okay, he didn't say lately. He just said.
Right. Trick question. All right, true or false? Chef Emeril Lagasse played a pivotal role in my decision to sign with the New Orleans Saints.
Oh.
We're contemplating.
No, that's my answer.
All right.
I think it's true. That's unfair. I think it's true. Who would make up?
It is true.
Crazy
So,
situation like that?
there you go.
He's a wonderful New Orleans chef.
But there's a funny story by that. So on my recruiting visit to New Orleans, we ate at the chef's table in Emeril's kitchen at his restaurant.
Yum.
And so he comes to the table. I think this is all part of the setup and the pitch. He says, if you sign with New Orleans, I'm gonna cook dinner for you in your house.
Oh.
Here we are, though.
Yeah.
12 years later,
Yeah.
he hasn't come to my house and cooked me dinner. Emeril, you still owe me. You still owe me, Emeril.
This contract thing could go another way. No bueno.
He's coming over soon. I know.
Okay.
All right.
It's time for one.
True or false? Okay. On game day, actually here I'm gonna go down to a good one.
We gotta go fast.
Okay.
We'll do it in commercial.
True or false? I keep my Super Bowl ring in my sock drawer.
Yes.
Oh, that's true.
It is true.
Thanks to Drew Brees. We want you to have a great day. Take a little time to enjoy the view. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. See you soon.